Okay, well, we'll open the meeting. You can go online now, Sean. Columbia County Planning Board meeting for June of 2021. We have a quorum, so everybody get a chance to look over the minutes from the last meeting. Entertain a motion concerning the minute.
Make a motion.
Patrick so moves. Larry seconds it. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Steve, did you give that the thumbs up, did you? Yep, Steve votes yes. And we'll get started with the 239s. If you want to have Mitchell in on the first one, we'll do that first. Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the plan. Okay, so we have 5 referrals tonight. The first one is 21028B, the Village of Kinderhook Planning Board. The applicant is Jennifer Osei McDonald and Jake Samaska. The location is 8 Broad Street, which is US 9 in the Village of Kinderhook. The proposed action is to establish a hotel, inn, and restaurant. It's issuance of special use permit within 500 feet of a state road. So this is the intersection in the Village of Kinderhook. This is the building right here.
Dutch Inn and the Three Sisters Tavern are in the same building?
Yeah, the Three Sisters Tavern and the Old Dutch Inn. So they're applying for 2, the existing zoning is B1. The existing land use is vacant commercial. Surrounding is commercial and residential. The structure is existing. It's approximately 12,834 square feet on a 0.13 acre parcel. There are 2 special use permit applications. One is for the hotel inn, and the second is for the restaurant. The referred to as the Old Dutch Inn and Three Sisters Tavern. The village code requires that multiple uses require a permit for each use type. That's why there's a requirement for 2 special use permits. They're proposing to establish the hotel and inn with 9 rooms in the 3 stories on the 2nd and 3rd floors, and the restaurant, which will be 126 seats, that will be partially in the basement and on the 1st floor, 44 seats on the basement level and 82 seats on the 1st floor level. The basement will include
Patrice, Mitch is having trouble getting in.
who's having trouble? Who's having trouble?
Mitch, is he supposed to use the public link or the other link?
No, the other link, because he wants to comment.
Yeah, use the other link, Mitch, not the public link.
Yep, there you are.
Okay, so this is board plans. So let me get to this is the first floor plan. So the first floor will include dining, reception, game room, restroom, the kitchen, and storage. The second floor, actually this is the basement. The basement will include the bar lounge, restroom, and storage. see the storage is in the rear. The second floor will include 5 guest rooms and storage, and the third floor will include 4 guest rooms and storage. They're proposing connection to existing sanitary sewer. It's the B1 sewer district through the Village of Alicia municipal system. There's an existing sidewalk on Broad Street that was removed and replaced, and because part of it is in the DOT right-of-way, it required DOT review and approval and a permit. The building entrance is off of the first floor, and there are 2 entries. One is on Broad Street, and then there's also a rear entrance for employees. Deliveries are proposed to be from curbside drop-off and via the alleyway between the 2 buildings. Let's get to the alleyway here. The building renovations include roof gutters, upgrades to the HVAC system, interior work. For parking, they will be using municipal lots and on-street parking. The village code doesn't have any parking requirements. They eliminated those a few years ago. For traffic, they conducted a peak hour trip generation analysis and identified that the peak time would be weekday evenings and Saturdays. And they estimate that there will be 40 additional trips generated on the weekdays and 48 on Saturday. They're proposing exterior signage as well as refuse storage will be in the rear. This building was built in approximately 1820. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and the renovations would be in accordance with the standards for the treatment of historic properties. We didn't find countywide impact from this. A couple of comments. I included reference to the June 2019 referral. We saw this referral and we made recommendations and comments. And so for this referral, I'd like to recommend, staff recommends those comments from 2019 with a few changes. The first would be to revise comment number 2, which references a correction that was identified that needed on the environmental assessment form and that no longer exists. The second revision is to add another comment noting that the DOT review permit was required for the sidewalk improvements because it was located in the right-of-way of US 9. Adding number 6, noting the numerous public letters of support for the project that were included in the referral. And then a revision to number 3 to read as follows: restaurant and inn, noting that the historic structure has sat vacant for a period of time and has been an inn and restaurant in the past. Columbia County Planning Board supports the use of the structure and the reestablishment of these historic uses and notes the positive impacts to the village square that will likely result when the structure ceases to be shuttered and vacant. Columbia County Planning Board recognizes the efforts of the applicant to honor the history through renovation and rehabilitation in order to maintain the existing fabric of the street. It's anticipated that the new establishment may once again serve as a private anchor in the village and also serve to complement the other growing businesses that contribute to the vitality of the village.
Is that it, Patrice?
That's it for me, yes.
Okay.
For now.
Right. And so Mitch Kusurova would like to make a few comments to the board, and as been our policy in the past, we've always entertained and encouraged people to attend the meetings and to offer comments.
Yeah, I'm trying to stop presenting. Just hold on a second, and I can. Sean, I hit the stop presenting tab. How do I get it back so I can stop presenting? I know I'd like to stop so that person that wants to comment, so Mitchell can comment. I'd like to stop presenting so we can see him. I hid those. I hid them. No, I can't get them back. Because they kept popping up and getting in the way of the work,
There you
but I can't see you guys.
Oh, no. Okay.
Okay, I have you now. Okay, I see what happened. I'm sorry. Hello, Mitchell.
Hello, good evening. Thank you all. Patrice, thank you for all your responses from the beginning. I appreciate the board giving me an opportunity. I will be very, very quick. You received a letter a couple of days ago from the attorneys to the applicant, and they called my client, Paul Calcagno, an opponent, an opposing party. I just want to point out that is far from the truth. This project is a great project. And obviously with all the support that's been shown by the village residents, there's no disagreement. If there's one person that would probably benefit the most from this project going forward properly, it would probably be my client, since he owns multiple properties and multiple businesses in the immediate area, both sides of the Dutch Inn, across the street, just a half a block away, etc. So I just want to point that out. I'm not sure why we would characterize it as that way. And this is really about process, because we want the project, but we don't understand why it's being handled the way that it's being handled, including getting the referral that the Columbia County Planning Board got this referral. I just want to point out a couple of quick things. The seeker was never discussed at the last meeting or the meeting before, which were the public hearings. There was discussion from the attorneys about the prior seeker that was just mentioned, and then they submitted something new, and the attorneys themselves labeled that a type 2 action. Well, it's probably not a type 2 action because it's a historical district, and the planning board never discussed it, whether it was or it wasn't. Matter of fact, at the last meeting, the attorney for the village stated that that issue should be addressed by the applicant before, and then we could move forward and understand it, because he thought it was a legitimate issue being brought up. The attorney also pointed out the limited authority from this board under 239 M1C. And I understand what this board's authority is, but it should get a proper referral and there should be a completed submission. The problem I have here is this was a submission with a narrative, with some extra items that were given to you on May 24th. And they were submitted simultaneously to the village. Well, the last meeting the village had was in June, and none of this was discussed. There was public comment where I brought up encroachment. I brought up the entranceway that was new, that was never approved. I brought up that the ROW doesn't go all the way to the back, that there's no site plan that's required by the village, and that there's no survey that should be required by the village. And again, the attorney for the village said all of those issues should be adhered to. Well, he didn't say adhered to, he said it should be discussed and resolved by the applicant for the next meeting. And then in the interim, we end up with this referral and this board meeting. So what I would like foremost is for the board not to act on this until they do have a complete referral from the village with all of the documents that they're supposed to have. if the village and the alternative, I'm sorry, if this plan board and the alternative decides that they do want to act, I ask that the recommendations include that the proper sequence as the code is laid out for the village and the proper documentation, including the survey, including a site plan. Like, we don't know where the garbage dump is going to be. We don't know where the propane tanks are going to be. And this is a problem. The last approved use of this building was an office space. It's never been an active restaurant. There's pictures of, huge propane tanks, and we don't know where they're going to go. My client is worried that there's not proper spacing here, and without it being thought out in advance, it may not happen. We're just asking for the process to be followed. We don't understand what the big rush is and why the applicant can't get these things that were asked for back in May, in the beginning of May at the meeting. And that's all I have. Again, we think it's a great project, but we want it to be done in a proper and procedural manner. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Mitch or?
Mitch, what's the septic situation with this? I mean, I know those buildings are all close together there, and dating back a long time, there have been questions regarding septic and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the septic was resolved because they connected to the village water and sewer.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, that was an issue way back when the.
Yeah.
Well, there were a lot of issues way back. The entranceway originally was in the front, they were on the side, which means there's going to be overflow directly in front of my business, my client's business, including people hanging out from the bar with cigarettes, including when the barber shop is not open, having to shovel snow, and they're not going to be open. So there's a lot of things that the zoning board, when it approved this last plan, laid out very specifically in its approval that has not yet been discussed by the applicant at all with this planning board. But septic was one, parking was alleviated too, they changed the code, the water was alleviated, but certainly without the site plan, we don't know specifics on how this is going to look.
Okay. Is there any other questions for Mitch? Otherwise, we'll deliberate among the board members.
Okay, thank you again.
Oh, thanks, Mitch.
Thank you.
Patrice, this was a referral from the village?
It was from the village. They authorized the applicant to make the referral to the county.
Okay. I think the issues that Mitch has brought up, I think they're important issues, but they're certainly not of the condition that would affect our recommendation. I think, again, a comment to the village to make sure that they have a full and complete site plan would apparently address Mitch's concerns. And again, I don't think it would have any impact on the staff's recommendation on this.
I agree with I think that would be a good way to handle it. I agree that the municipality should be able to deal with it. And
Right.
They should, but I guess I would have no problem tabling it for a month and let them figure out what's going on there. Because obviously there are other things that have come up since.
The seeker issues, we have the EAF was submitted with the application. Whether or not they'll use it, we don't have any control over that ever in an application.
Okay.
The seeker, their decision making or their determinations, the seeker, that's out of our control and out of our purview. And as far as the propane, I don't recall seeing it on the site plans. I do recall seeing the location of a dumpster on the rear of the building, and I do see that there's the alleyway between the two structures that have I don't know if there's an agreement or not. I have no idea what the agreement is with the budding property owner, but there is a common gangway. Appears to be common. There's a line that goes down the center of it. I don't know what the the legal agreement if there is any between the two property owners. We weren't, I don't believe I have that information from the,
Patrice, that was in my email of a few hours ago to you. Just so there is a right of way for both properties, but not all the way down. And it's not wide enough for a regular truck.
okay, thank you for sending that to me. I didn't realize that you had sent that to me, and I haven't reviewed that.
Well, these issues, as important as they are, I don't think it would change, as Ed spoke, I don't think it would change our determination. I feel quite comfortable with being a local decision with the comments that the municipality addressed the issues that have been brought up here this evening, as well as including the comments that the staff has made. I think even if these were addressed and sent back to us, I don't think it would change. I don't see how it could change, go from local decision to either approval or disapproval type scenario, I guess.
Right, maybe the comment should just be as simple as the village planning board should ensure that all required elements of the site plan have been presented.
Yeah.
Reviewed and resolved.
Yeah.
Presented, reviewed, all right, presented, reviewed, and resolved, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mallory, does that help your concern?
Yeah, I guess so.
The concerns are very valid. There's no, there should be a site plan. It should, these are things that need to be ironed out, whether the right of way extends, part way, halfway, whatever. That's on the town, the local planning board and ZBA to work that out with the business owners. And does anybody else have any other comments or questions?
So I guess what we're charged with, I guess we've got everything we need.
I think so. I feel comfortable. The items that Mitch is making is not. It's not irrelevant, but it just doesn't come up to the level of the items that we would be looking at to have intercommunity impact. The 6 categories that we look at to bring it to the next level of approval or disapproval or modification. And I just don't. And even if those were resolved, even if we knew how far the right of way went, I don't think next month it would change. I don't see how it would. We've got an EAF statement, so as far as they felt that the application was complete at that point. Now that maybe they've still got the public hearing open or something of that nature. They haven't voted on it yet, obviously, so they can address these issues. And with our making that recommendation, I think that carries a lot of weight in that. So having said all that, we'll entertain a motion at this time. Also move for local decision with the staff's comments and the wording that Terry provided us for the comment from the board to be added to it.
I'll second that.
Ed seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Steve, you thumbs up, Okay, Steve's a thumbs up. All those opposed?
I'm going to abstain.
Mallory's going to abstain, as well as Patrick's going to abstain.
Oh, it's the village. I'm fine. I'm only in town, not the village.
He's the town of Kinder.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Patrick. My
No,
mistake.
it's all right.
Okay. Thanks, Mitch, for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mitch.
Okay, next item.
Okay. I'll try this presenting again here. Okay, so the next referral is 21029. It's the town of Gallatin. Planning Board. The applicant is Doug Passeri. The location is 410 Church Road. The requested action is to construct a freestanding solar array. It's approval of a site plan and issuance of a special use permit within 500 feet of the Tacona State Parkway. This is the large parcel. This is the location of the parkway. The existing zoning is RA3. The existing land use is residential, surroundings residential, and the parkway. There is an existing house on the site. Here's the existing residence. This is the proposed location for the ground-mounted solar array. The parcel itself is 212 acres, plus or minus. The proposed array would be 16.56 kilowatts off the grid, and it would be located southeast of the existing residence, provide solar power for the residence itself. On the setbacks, you can see they are range from 120 feet to greater than 300 feet, depending upon the direction. There's also some DEC wetlands on site, but they're not within the area where the proposed array will be located. This hash-checked area is the check zone, but either way, the array is down here and would not be disturbing the wetlands. We didn't find there was any countywide impact from this. And just the one comment about the wetlands, that they're noted that they are on the parcel, and suggesting that the applicant review the environmental assessment form and modify accordingly. Also, suggesting that the limits of clearing be delineated on the site plan, because on the EAF it indicates that they will be physically disturbing 1 acre of land. So is it not shown on the site plan? If it exceeds 1 acre and it's a construction project, there may be some implications for stormwater protection plan. So just those two comments.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments? And the staff's recommendation was just local decision?
Correct.
Yeah, because of the size it doesn't come up to the.
Just for residential use, it's one,
Right,
it's a standalone.
Yep. Okay. If there are any questions or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that.
Mallory so moves. Is there a second?
Patrick will second.
Thank you, Patrick. Patrick seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Steve's got the thumbs up.
Well, I'll abstain since this is in my town. So.
Okay. Terry's gonna abstain.
Okay, thank you.
But I appreciate the recommendation about showing the clearing area.
Okay, the next referral is 21030V, Village of Chatham Zoning Board of Appeals. The applicant is Aaron Gaylord. The location is 29 Jones Avenue. It's to establish an office storage space, granting of a use variance within 500 feet of a municipal boundary. The existing zoning is residential, and the surrounding is residential. The existing land use was previously commercial as professional office space, and the surrounding is residential. The parcel is approximately 3.8 acres. Just identifies the different uses. See, all these are houses, and this is where the road ends, and this is the location of the existing structure. It used to be medical office space. So a use variance is required in order to establish the offices and storage use in this existing structure. The storage use is proposed to be used by the Shaker Museum. Office and storage are not permitted uses in the R zoning district. They're proposing interior renovations, including demolition of the interior and reorganization to create offices and storage. There's existing water and sewer, previously housed doctor's office. So the standards for use variance are the applicant must demonstrate that zoning restrictions have caused unnecessary hardship, and they must demonstrate for every permitted use in the zoning district that they cannot realize a reasonable return and provide competent financial evidence, that the alleged hardship is unique and does not apply to a substantial portion of the district or neighborhood, that it will not affect the essential character of the neighborhood, and that the alleged hardship has not been self-created. They did provide some information about the finances in reference to the amount of the purchase of the structure and the estimates that they have to create a residential use in the structure. And they provided comparables of the area for the other residences that are for sale or that have been recently purchased. And so that was the information they provided for that type of use. They didn't provide any other information with this referral on the other permitted uses within the village, and I'll get back to those. But either way, there's no countywide, staff did not find that there was any countywide impact from this, and we have no comments.
Yeah.
So here's the residential. There are a number of other permitted uses. So they would have to demonstrate hardship with each one of these uses. So,
Patrice, I'd like to possibly have the board consider a condition or comment on this, that if this was previously a commercial offices and it has not changed use, that has in fact the non-conforming use been discontinued. There are court cases that say if it hasn't been changed, there's similar uses, business office, commercial, the dentist office, whatever. So I would question as to whether or not they actually discontinued those uses because it was not put to any other use.
well, yeah, I understand. I think something that was in the text was that it has been vacant. The length of time that it has been vacant, I'm not sure that they provided that to us. The doctor's offices that were in there have since vacated and it ceased to be used as a doctor's office. And I don't know the length of time that has been.
But again, they didn't modify or alter that building and use it for a conforming use. So in fact, the non-conforming status may still be valid.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Because I know they mentioned that it was in part of the correspondence. It was like a slow, painful exit of the different doctors in that.
Correct. But yeah, I don't remember the date being in there or the length of time.
Right, again, just a comment that they may want, the board may want to look at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
in their deliberations.
It's good.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a
Patrick will
motion.
make the motion.
Terry so moves with the comments. Who seconded that?
So,
Patrick.
Patrick seconds it. All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion's carried.
Okay, thank you. So the next application referral is 21031, the Town of Copake Planning Board. The applicant is Noah Bernemoff for Swiss Hut. Location is Catamount Road. Excuse me. Which is off of New York State Route 23. See if I can get a little site plan so I got here. So Catamount Road is off of New York State Route 23, and this is 23 here. And this is the location of the parcel, the location of the structures. And this is Catamount Road. So it's approval of a site plan within 500 feet of a state highway. The existing zoning is mixed use within the scenic corridor overlay zone. The existing land use, well, it's vacant now. It was recently closed. It was a restaurant and inn. The surrounding is residential and commercial and the ski area. And this is the boundary between the New York State and Massachusetts here. The site plan review is required for the proposed improvements to an existing restaurant and lodging use. There's an existing inn with a restaurant and the lodging. They had 12 guest rooms, and they're not planning work on the guest rooms with this application. The inn building proposing improvements to for code compliance as required for the kitchen, restrooms, and entrances in the outdoor dining area. Landscaping, pedestrian access, and adding a sprinkler system to the second and third floors. Back to. Oh, wait, sorry. That's as large as I can make it. I apologize for that. So as I mentioned, the existing access is from Catamount Road off of 23, and there's also secondary access from Nicholson Road, which is seasonally maintained, and it is accessed through Massachusetts. There are ponds and streams, and they are proposing to maintain the required buffers. As far as setbacks, the structure is pre-existing, non-conforming. There's a pool with a hut, but that is located over here in Massachusetts. There's an on-site septic system, and for the New York State Speedies permit, they're permitted to discharge 4,800 gallons per day, and that was repaired in 2019. There are three wells located on site on the parcel. Two of the wells are for drinking water. One serves the lodge, and one serves the inn. And the third is for the pool. The proposed exterior renovations include adding a pergola in this area between the inn and the lodge buildings. Also, ADA restrooms in addition to the north side. Let me get to the next. Right here. Here's the pergola. This is the addition for ADA bathrooms. They're also proposing major changes to the access. This would be a handicap accessible ramp that goes along the whole front of the restaurant building and down past the pool to the parking area that is, will now be valet parking. They're proposing, to add pavers around this for non-slip pavers around the swimming pool, and also a path here through the woods would be 3 feet wide. There's also proposing a pathway here that will take you over to the ski area, connecting to a wooden footbridge. There will also be bollard lighting installed throughout the project. You can see all the little lights here along the pathways. They're not proposing any upgrades to the utilities. As I mentioned, the parking is being reconfigured right now. When you pull in the road, you park here along the property edge. And now they're proposing to, because of the ramp, they have taken over part of that, and they're extending out a lawn area here in order to accommodate this handicap ramp here. So there'll be some parking alongside of that, and then this newly created valet parking area over here. It will be double stacking in this parking. The proposed signage that's would be related to the parking, denoting the ADA parking areas and areas where there is no parking allowed. There are no other approvals or permits required from other agencies based on the current conditions, proposed conditions, and they've classified this as a type 2 action under seeker. We didn't find that there are countywide impacts from this, but have a couple of a comment that suggesting that they show the New York Mass line on all of the drawings. For instance, this one, it's not really clear where it is. I mean, you can barely see it, so it's not labeled. Just a little nitpicky map thing for me. But the second comment relates to existing uses, noting that the proposed improvements will allow for the continued use of the facility as a restaurant and lodging establishment, and foster the continuation of a long-established business and maintain the complementary, mutually beneficial relationship with the existing Catamount ski area. There's a blow-up of the entrance area, so you can see there's an enlarged entry patio to enter the restaurant, and connection here from the ramp from the parking area, and then these are concrete steps that go to the parking that's along the access or the entry driveway. Again, you see the addition here for the bathrooms. And then an enlargement of showing the location of another handicap parking.
Okay.
Let's see, I'm trying to get to the bollards so you can see what they look like. Just a little bit smaller. These are the floor plans. So there's a bit of reconfiguration on the interior. This area continues to be dining and the lounge. However, they're making this is also a dining area currently. They're converting that to an office and luggage. And the kitchen remains in the same area. This is existing dining, but with this addition, the bathrooms that are currently there are being relocated. They show the configuration of the second and third floors. Okay, here is elevation of the restaurant. So you can see the new handicap ramp here with the railings. And this is all existing structure. And this is the outdoor patio area. And this is another view. The rear and the two end views. This is the location of the pergola in between the restaurant building and the lodging building. These are the types of bollards that they will be installed throughout the site. Is there anything else that people would like to see? Because I've looked at this, so I
don't see any restaurant capacity, do you?
I think this number of seats are noted.
There's 44 spaces for cars, but that doesn't say anything about how many people. Unless I'm missing it.
I believe it's included, but I don't think it's on these architecturals. I thought it was here. It's not included here. I apologize. I'm pretty sure that it's included, but I'm.
We can add that as a comment, and if we see it later, we can take it off. Parking stalls.
Okay, so I apologize. I think it's there, but I can't find it at this
Okay.
point. So if you want to add that as a comment, then
Yeah.
and if I'll look through these again more thoroughly, and if I find it, then that comment would not be included. Is that how you want me to handle it?
I'm comfortable with that. Is the board all right with that?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments on this project? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Larry so moves for local decision with the comments. Is there a second?
I'll second
I'll
it.
second it.
Terry seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? And Steve, you're abstaining? Steve will be abstaining. There was no thumbs up or thumbs down.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so the last application is 21032, the Town of Livingston Planning Board. The applicant is J.G. Bryant LLC. The location is 3326 US Route 9, which, if you were familiar with the restaurant that used to be Paulie's Restaurant, and it had some other names after that, but it's right on the other side of the road from the Troopers Barracks, but in that general vicinity. The proposed use is to establish an office and ice cream shop. It's approval of the site plan and issuance of a special use permit within 500 feet of the state highway. The existing zoning is C1. Surrounding is commercial, residential, ag, and the state police barracks. There are 2 existing structures on site. There's existing access off of US Route 9. The existing residence will remain, and this is the building where the offices and ice cream shop are proposed to be located. There will be 2 offices in the structure, each about approximately 1,200 square feet. One will be occupied by a dietitian, and the second, the tenant isn't identified in this application. And the retail ice cream shop would be located as for takeout only, would be also in this building. You can see that there's existing access off of 9, but they are proposing improvements to that, adding 2 driveways with a control to control the access with the curbing and this little island here, concrete curbing added. There are 2 existing parking areas in the front and in the rear. This existing gravel parking area will remain basically as is. The parking area in the front will be, paving will be added in this area, and the remaining section over here will be extended back. It will be gravel, and there are 11 spaces over here. The 88 spaces are in the front of the structure. They're also proposing the addition of little picnic tables back here. And this is the location for the refuse storage area. They anticipate employing 4 people in the offices and 3 people at the ice cream store, with the hours of operation for the office being Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and for the ice cream use, Tuesday through Friday from 4 to 9, and Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 10. There's an existing well and septic system for each structure. There's existing freestanding sign along Route 9 that will be replaced in kind. There's also proposed wall-mounted lighting on this area and in the front. An ag data statement was submitted because it is within 500 feet of active farming operations. Okay. And the consulting firm that is working on the project has provided information that they are in the process of working with DOT and the health department for the necessary approvals. So we didn't find there was countywide impact from this. A couple of comments noting that those 2, first that the DOT process is underway, and also review for the health department is also underway.
Well, good. They could probably use another ice cream place down there after the one by Hannaford, where Hannaford is closed up. It's good to see a need fulfilled in the town down there.
Yeah, it'll be good to see that building used for something.
Yep.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, any questions or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Also move.
Mallory so moves. Ed seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Steve's a thumbs up on the ice cream. He's all for ice cream. Yep. Okay. Steve.
Motionless.
All those opposed, motion's carried. I see the ice cream shack closed up, huh? Ed, up by Applebee's? in Greenport?
Yes, yeah, it's for sale.
That's a shame. They were nice folks in there.
Good ice cream too.
It was. I like the Giffords ice cream they had when they had it.
I
Plus
just,
they made some.
there were two other referrals that we received. One was from the village, another one was from the village of Kinderhook. But it was an exempt action. It was for a home occupation, and that's on the list. And another referral was received from Austerlitz Planning Board for a subdivision, which is, we're not, the county planning board is not given the authority to review subdivisions, so I let the municipalities aware of that. And we did have the 2 training sessions for the Department of State in Greene County, the comp plan and the introduction to zoning. I know for the comp plan, there were 75 people attended or registered to attend, and I think the zoning was similar, but I don't have that sheet yet from Greene County because they coordinated the registration. But they indicated it was a similar number, but a lot of people from Columbia County were from Columbia than Greene at both of those sessions. So it went well. I don't know if anyone attended from here, but
I attended both of them, Patrice.
okay.
No, I did the, and I think Mallory, you were at the one, the second half of the natural resource inventory.
Yep.
I think that was great. Don did a nice job of presenting what you can do with it. You know, the night before our county meeting, we had learned of what it was, being the natural resource inventory. And I think it's a tool that a lot of municipalities are missing out on using at a local level, or even just putting on. I happen to we're involved with the town of Tolland over in Massachusetts, and I happen to have a reason to go to their website, and they have all the natural resource inventory maps right available to anybody. You don't have to click and go 4 or 5 different places to look for it. You can find wetlands. The whole thing is there, and I think more towns need to look at perhaps introducing this. You know, now that we've got websites, to take it a step further and provide things of interest to folks. You know, not just and the board certainly could use it, and it also lays out what municipalities can do with the natural resource inventory. One of the things Don didn't get a chance to touch on because it was only an hour-long program. You could plot your current building permits over the last 5 years, how they relate to all the wetlands or the steeper slopes and things like that. I mean, there's so many things that you could do. I think you're only limited by your imagination, but it was a very, very worthwhile program, I thought. What do you think, Mallory?
Yeah, no, I thought it was very good.
Yeah. Great. And I don't know if any of you have been attending the Planning Federation. I haven't had a chance to get caught up on it, look at it later, but they've got the the solar energy one that they're currently running. And there's plenty
Been
of.
on those so far.
Have you?
Yeah, they're good as well. I mean, yeah, if you're not familiar with it, certainly very good. I was familiar with a lot of the stuff already, but yeah, it was well done though.
Great. Thank you. And anything else you have this evening, Patrice? Is there anything on the exempted actions thing?
Oh, I put that on the drive. If anyone had a chance to look it over. If not, you can just click on the link to the referrals, and it's on the first. it's on the first page
Okay,
where all of the file folders are, and that draft is there. So if you want to take a look at it, I'll leave it up there and I'll put it in the drive for next month as well. But that link will stay, I'll leave that link live until I post the July drive.
and so we're looking for comments from the board members at this time on that, so we could move it forward.
Or if you want to, if everyone hasn't had a chance to review it, it's up.
Right, but if we could target next month, maybe to have a discussion on it.
Sure.
Is that all right with everybody?
I
Yep.
just added that one comment. I didn't make any other comments, but if I do make any other changes, I will highlight them in red so that you're aware of what is new information.
Okay, that way we
We have a number of, we do have a number of referrals already for next month, so
Okay,
we have 4.
will we be meeting in person, you think, next month?
I don't know.
Okay,
Do we have any in-person training coming up or not?
Well, Department of State is hopeful that they will be, they'll be allowed to have in person, but they don't know whether they'll be able to travel for budgetary reasons. So, I'll be probably planning it to the session in the fall to be both virtual and in person until there's a decision at the state of how they'll do training going forward.
okay.
So
Good,
if you have any ideas, so if you have any ideas about a training session that you would be interested in the Department of State conducting for us, then just start thinking about that so I can let Chris know, because we want to lock in the dates
Yep.
in the fall. 'Cause we usually do it October, November.
You'll have to do your own training.
What's that?
You'll have to do your own training.
yeah. And next month we'll start again the yearly process of the reappointments. Looking that up and start that process. Okay. Anything else, Patrice?
No.
We good? Anybody else have anything to bring before this illustrious board? If not, we'd like to thank Sean for his help this evening. A shame you really couldn't do something about our appearance, but you know, you're just not as good as Oswaldo. But anyway, thank you very much for helping us out this evening, and we'll be adjourned at 7:34. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Good
everybody.
night, everyone.
Very much.
Thank